Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Barakatah for the brothers, Yahweh Shema, Lathaba Hashem Yahushua for the sisters. This is the Friday High Desert Scripture Breakdown class. I'm Police Officer Shadow Rock. Today we're going to go into the topic is God against multiple wives? Okay. So for my first precept, we're going to go to the story of a man in the Bible that's been, a righteous man in the Bible by the name of Gideon. We're going to go to Judges 8 and 6. Going to go to Judges 6 and 1. The book of Judges, chapter 6 and verse 1. Give y'all a chance to go there.
You want me to read it?
Go ahead. Got it.
Judges chapter 6 verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord.
Now this is the children of Israel doing evil in the sight of the Lord. What is that evil? That evil is that they're not following the law, statutes, and commandments that God gave to Moses, their ancestor, and they're not following these laws, statutes, and commandments, and it's most likely seeking other gods, because that's what Israel is notorious for: seeking other gods, going to other customs, other ways. Now, we in America right now, in this country, we've adopted that way, and that's the way of monogamy. Monogamy is one man, one woman get married. That's it. That's all. That's the ways of this land. And many of us take that as the word of God and say that this Bible is really actually lying to you and saying that it should be just one man, one woman. Okay. So keep in mind that when we came to this country, they stole our customs. They stole our language. They stole our customs. They stole our laws. They stole these laws out of us. They stole this very book from us. This Bible. They took all these things. Okay. So the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. Continue.
And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years.
So the Lord delivered Israel into the hands of the Midianites. These are the children of Midian. So this is the cost of doing evil. This is the cost of doing things against the Lord. This is the cost of not following the Most High God, Yahweh. Okay. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yahana, and we follow the laws. Okay. We follow all the laws of the Bible, not a piece, not a half, but all the laws of the Bible are to be followed, are to be taken. Okay, observed. The holy days are to be observed, and the laws are to be held to. Okay, this is one of the consequences that we took and caused us to go into slavery as well. We went into slavery for breaking the laws of the Most High God. Okay. Now, continue.
Verse 2. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves and strongholds.
So because of the children because of the Midianites, the Israelites started making strongholds, caves, and dens. I don't have that book with me now, but the book called the Babylon, From Babylon to Timbuktu. There's a portion in that book where when Rudolph Windsor, who was the author, went to Israel, he went to Africa. He went to West Africa in particular, where we were captured. Our people, the so-called Negroes, were captured and took across the Atlantic Ocean through the transatlantic slave trade. He went to West Africa and found many underground synagogues. Underground synagogues. Who were in them underground synagogues? Our ancestors were in there. Understand? If you so-called Negro, your ancestor was in there. And I don't mean an African. I mean an Israelite, not an African. Because when we, as the book states, in 70 AD, when the Roman army destroyed Jerusalem, we fled. The black Israelites fled into Africa, particularly West Africa. And then that's when the slave trade actually started. That's when the slave trades started going on then. Okay. So he also found underground synagogues where they went underground. So here in the Bible, it's stating the same thing, that they went underground in just to escape the Midianites, because that's the length of a nation. And the way that Rudolph Windsor said in Babylon and Timbuktu, this was a great length that a nation would do to get away from an oppressor, because there was a lot of deaths. A lot of people got killed. A lot of Israelites were killed by the Romans during the time Vespasian and King Titus went into Jerusalem and destroyed Jerusalem. When they went in that time, there was many people being brutalized and killed. Many, as it states, many atrocities and outrages happened during that time. So that's what our people do. That's what people are known to do. Dig into the ground and make a whole synagogue down there. And from what I believe in the book, it states that thousands of people could have been in those synagogues, were able to go into those synagogues and worship the Most High at that time. Okay. So where are we at now?
Verse 3.
Let's go to verse 3.
And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. So
you got the Midianites, you got the Amalekites, and you got the children of the east, right? They're going against Israel. See, so the Most High would do this. He said, if you don't obey my words, okay, I'm gonna send the people against you, and these people are going to destroy you, overcome you. Okay. Now I'm proceeding and showing you what happened in the time of Gideon. The topic of this is we're going to go into the multiple wives. We're going to show you why about this man. Okay. Let's go to verse 14.
Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee?
Okay, wait, let's go up one verse. Let's go to 13.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us?
See, so Gideon couldn't understand. He said, well, Lord, if all this be, if you with us, why is all this happening? Why are all these things happening to us? But as I stated earlier, as it is stated in the Bible, the children of Israel were against the Most High. They did evil in the Most High's sight, so he let all these things befall Israel. Okay. So we're at Judges 6 and 13, right? Continue.
And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt?
See, so they were saying, where are all these miracles? What happened? You know, Moses parted the sea. You know, he sent locusts, he sent plagues, he sent all these different things, and showed Pharaoh that he had to let us go, let our people and our forefathers go. But what about now? You know, why he let all these things happen to us? Isn't the Lord, doesn't the Lord perform miracles? Okay. Continue.
But now the Lord have forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
Right. So the Lord put the children of Israel into the hands of the Midianites. Continue, verse 14.
Verse 14. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee?
So the Lord said, have not I sent you? With your might, go with your might. I'm going to deliver I'm going to deliver in your hand the Midianites. The Midianites are going to be conquered, you know. And so this is what the Most High is telling him, you know, just like he told Joshua. He told Joshua, fear not, don't look left, don't look right, look straight ahead, fear not, be of good courage, you know, and go against all those African tribes. And Joshua was victorious. That's a man of the Lord. Now this is Gideon, and he's close to doing, you know, similar, but it's just really the Midianites and Amalekites. Joshua destroyed many tribes, you know, Perizzites, Jebusites, Girgashites, you know. He did a lot he killed a lot of tribes and took the land of Canaan, which the Lord told him to do. See, so the Lord is telling Gideon at this time, do it to the Midianites, you know, stand up, put your might against them. I'm going to be with you, right? So that's what he's saying. I sent thee. See, so the Lord's saying, I sent you. So continue, give me verse 15.
Verse 15. And he said upon him, and he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh.
Continue.
And I am the least in my father's house.
Now, see, that's the wisdom of the Lord. He always picks the least. The Lord ain't going all the time with the, you know, the great, the many, and this and that and the other, you know. The Lord picked the dove as his favorite bird. You know what I mean? The Lord picked the lily, you know. He picked the small things, the things that people don't think is going to be significant. The Lord picks it because he picked us. He picked the Israelites, and we weren't many in numbers. We didn't have like a lot of people in our nation. So, but still, the Lord picked us. He chose Israel, as it's written in Deuteronomy 7:6. Okay, let's continue.
Verse 16. And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee.
Say it again.
And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee.
The Lord said, surely I will be with thee. See, the Lord didn't leave Gideon. The Lord stayed with Gideon. You understand? So is this a man that's a righteous man or unrighteous man? This must be a righteous man. You know, just like the Lord chose Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who did righteous deeds, as our King Christ, Yahushua, the Hebrew did. You understand? So with this man, we're going to go and show some things. Let's see. We're going to go down a little bit to, matter of fact, just go ahead and read on.
Verse 17. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then shew me a sign that thou talkest with me.
Okay. Go ahead. He's asking for a sign at this time. You know, Gideon's asking for a sign. Show me that you're talking to me. I want to make sure. You know, he just wanted to make sure. Moses kind of did the same thing. You know, Moses, I believe the Lord passed him. He said, turn. You can't look at me, but just turn. You're gonna know that I walk past you. You know, he had to do the same. He did the same thing with Moses because, you know, we're men in the Most High. That's That's the most powerful force in the universe. You understand? So that's what Gideon is asking. Go ahead.
Number 18. Depart now, not hence, I pray thee, until I came unto thee.
So it's saying, don't leave from here. Depart not hence. Depart not here. Don't leave from this spot. I beg you. Okay. Continue.
And bring forth my present.
Well, he said, until I come to thee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Continue.
And bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou come again.
Okay. Now, this is some things that Gideon went through and some, what he was prepared, he did to prepare himself. Now let's go to verse 20.
Verse 20. And the angel of God said unto him, take the flesh and the unleavened cakes and lay them upon this rock.
Okay, so we're going to go down a little bit more. Let's go to verse 22.
Verse 22. And Gideon said,
perceive. And when Gideon perceived.
And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord, Gideon said, Alas, O Lord God, for because I have seen an angel of the Lord face to face.
See? So the Lord, it wasn't actually the Most High, because the Most High never been to earth. He's not going to come, here he's going to send his angels. And you're going to know that came from the Most High. You're going to know that that's the Most High really there talking to you, because he sends it. The Lord sends his angels to do his work. He sends his angels. Okay. So that's when Gideon figured that out, he knew that this was the Most High. So let's go to verse 23.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto him, Peace be unto thee. Fear not, thou shalt not die.
So he told him that you won't die, fear not. It still reminds me of the book of Joshua, because it said, peace be unto you, don't be fearful. You won't die. He told Joshua, you're going to be victorious. Be of good courage. You're going to go up against all these nations, and you're going to seize that land for your nation, Israel. And that's what happened when Israel came out of Egypt. Okay. So now let's go to, 24.
Verse 24. Then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord, and called it Jehovah Shalom. Unto this day it is yet an offering of the Abiezrites.
Okay. Now, let's go to 25.
Verse 25?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Take thy father bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it.
Okay. So this is like, these are people that, these were the children of Israel that put up those groves and set all that stuff to go against the Most High. They were worshiping Baal, But that's what we always did when we got in trouble with the Most High God, worshiping Baal, worshiping Ashereth, worshiping Shwin, and all these different gods, you know, and going into all these different rituals and making groves and setting all that up. But the Lord said, tear that down and get a bullock and sacrifice it, because this is going to become my place. This is going to be my side, you know, of the earth. Okay, so where we at? 28?
No.
27?
26.
You still at 26? Okay, go ahead. No, we're at 27. Go to 27. Oh, you was in the middle. You was in the middle of 26?
No, I was at 25. Second bullock. 25 is.
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead. Finish reading.
26 or 25?
25.
25. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it.
Okay. Go to 26.
Verse 26. And build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock in the ordered place, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down.
Okay, so we're kind of going through that ritual, but we're gonna advance forward. Let's go to 32.
Verse 32. Therefore, on that day, he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he had thrown down his altar.
Okay, so they're mad at him for throwing down this altar. You know, they're mad because they still want to worship these other gods. So they want to, go against them and say this and that and the other, right? Okay. Now, he cut down the groves. Now let's go to 33.
Verse 33. Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites and the children of the east were gathered together and went over and pitched in the valley of Jezreel.
The valley of Jezreel, right? Okay. So now we're gonna advance a little bit further. We're gonna go to chapter 8, and we're gonna let's go to the first verse.
Judges chapter 8 verse 1. And the man of Ephraim said unto him, why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites?
So the Ephraimites, the men of Ephraim, they were saying, why didn't you call us when we went down there to fight these Midianites? You didn't need us or something? What was going on with that? But at the time, this is what he did. So now, let's go to verse 3.
Verse 3. God hath delivered into your hands the princess of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb,
See, so he delivered in your hand the princes. The Lord delivered in the Gideon's hands these three princes of the Midianites, and Oreb and Zeeb. You know, he was victorious against these people. Okay. Let's go to. I'm trying to go down because this is I'm kind of staying too long in this. Let's go to verse 30.
Verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 30. And Gideon had threescore and 10 sons of his body
begotten. So he had these children, right? Read.
Begotten, for he had many wives.
So he had many what?
Wives.
Many what?
Wives.
He had many wives. This was a man of God. This is a warrior, a victorious warrior who did the Lord's will and did it correctly because he was victorious in getting all these two tribes or nations that came against him, and he was victorious. So he had many wives. This is the example. I just went into a little bit of little long and drawn out so that you see that this is a man of God. This is not no sinner. This is not nobody that eats pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. This ain't nobody that worships Baal or Ashereth or Easter. This is not no man that goes out and kills his fellow servant or beats his fellow servant. It's not even a man that beats his wives in general. So just as the topic of this class is the Lord against multiple wives. Okay. Now let's go to Exodus 21 and 10. The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 10.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So
it's really meaning that when it comes to you have two wives. So would you take from the other wife and build that house up, and then you let your other wife just diminish and her clothes diminish and her, her money and her status in marriage? No, that's not the way it's done here in ISUPK. That's not the way the Lord wanted it to be done in Exodus. That's not the way. Because you are, as a man, to love your wife as you love yourself. So would you take your own clothes and throw them in the garbage? You know what I mean? Would you take your own clothes, your own money and just throw it away? Would you, not do the things for yourself that you're supposed to be doing? No, that's what this scripture is actually going into. And that status as the second wife or the third, whatever, they ought to be treated. It's telling you right there that they ought to be treated the same way, the same exact way. Well, not exact, but the same way in principle, which means, these things. Let's go to Romans 15 and 4.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
It's written for what?
Our learning.
Whatever was written in the past in this book, we were way up in the Old Testament. It was written for our learning, right? For us to learn from. Okay, continue.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
Might have hope. See, this Bible is not written by accident. It's not written, for just for your how you say it, for your entertainment. It's not written so that you could just say, okay, that was the past, that's it, that's over, and that's all. This was written through our learning, that through patience and comfort, the scriptures that we might have hope through these scriptures. Okay. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
Remember what?
The days of old.
Remember the days of old. So we need to remember history. This is our history. It's the history of the Israelites. This book was written for the Israelites and the Israelites only, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians only. Okay? So this is what we ought to be learning, and this is what we need to be into, and we are to remember the days of the past, the days of old. Continue.
Consider the years of many generations.
Consider the years of many generations. Now, did not Gideon live in a generation? Didn't he have a generation? Of course he did. So we need to consider that generation. He had many wives, and it didn't say in this book that this man broke God's laws. It didn't say that this man did evil in the sight of the Lord. Did not say that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go just that far in that part. Now, we're going to go on to, we're in Romans 15 and 4. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 16, 2, verse 2. Genesis chapter 16 and verse 2. Let's go to, well, you know what? Let's go to verse 1. Genesis 16 and 1.
Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife.
See, in the beginning, she was called Sarai, not Sarah yet. In the beginning, he was called Abram, not Abraham yet. See, there's reasons why their name, the Lord changed their names. Okay, now let's go. Go ahead.
Bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. So Sarai was barren in the beginning. She couldn't bear him no kids. She wasn't, in this day and time, she wasn't fertile, so she couldn't bear children. So she had a handmaid named Sarai, who was an Egyptian, right? Okay. I mean, the handmaid name was Hagar, right? She was an Egyptian. Go to verse 2. Verse 2. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing.
So she said, the Lord restrained me from bearing children, right? That's what that meant, right? Continue.
I pray thee, go in unto my maid.
So she's telling Abram to go in unto the maid, so they could be, be intimate with the maid, right? Continue.
It may be that I may
obtain
children by her.
So she said, it may be, so she said, well, go to my handmaid. You could probably have children with her instead of me. That's what she really meant. Okay. Continue.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
Which means he listened to the voice of Sarai, his wife, right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Sarai Abram's wife took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
To be his what?
His wife.
His who?
His wife.
His wife. So that's two wives. That's Sarah and Hagar. Okay. Now, was Abram, whose name was changed later on to Abraham, who is one of the three fathers of Israel? When we pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This Abram is Abraham. His name was changed to Abraham. All right. That's the father of our nation. Now, was he an unrighteous man? Was he doing the Lord's will? Did he go against the Lord when he took Hagar on and had children with her? Because Sarai couldn't? No. Okay. So here's another example of the Lord not being against multiple wives. Okay. Okay, let's go. Verse 4.
Verse 4. And he went and unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her
Mistress
has despised her in her eyes.
So this, women don't like this, but this is two wives. When she saw that she had that child instead of her because she was barren, she despised Hagar. She despised the mistress, right? So let's go to verse 11.
Verse 11. And ye shall curse
Wait, Salaki, I'm gonna go back over here. Wait, I said verse 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And ye shall curse.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
16 and 1.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael.
So this Ishmael that Hagar bore was actually an Arab. It's an Arab. He's the father of the Arabs. When you see Arabs, you'll see in the Bible, later on, you see Ishmaelites. An Arab is an Ishmaelite, which means sons of Ishmael. Okay, this was the handmaid Hagar, Now let's go Ishmael. Okay, so read the rest of that out.
Because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
Because the Lord had heard your affliction, because she was being afflicted. You understand? Because Sarah was was known to be Abraham's wife, but she went through a lot giving Abraham that firstborn son, because Ishmael is older. As we go on in this Bible, you'll see that Sarah, her name will be turned to Sarah, and she'll have another son. Okay. Let's go to okay, so we the main purpose is to see that there was two wives. So let's go on to Genesis 29 and verse 18. You can read the story later on and then see what's going on. how Sarah's name was changed. I mean, Sarai's name was changed to Sarah. How Sarah bore Isaac. Isaac is another one of the forefathers of the children of Israel. We pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's Sarah's son. Sarah later on was changed, and the Lord changed her and let her have a son. See, she didn't have a son right away, but he let her have a son. She became fertile, and she bore Isaac. Okay, and the Lord established his covenant and his promises with Isaac instead of Ishmael. You know, you'll hear a lot of that in Islam, where they're always trying to say, you know, the Lord had Hagar get pregnant and she had Ishmael, so we're part of the covenant, but they're not. Okay, they're not part of the Lord's covenant, because he said he will establish his covenant with Isaac, Sarah's son. Okay, because you can see in Genesis chapter 17 and verse 21, I'll read it. It says, "But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year." You see, in the next year. So you got that? You got that out? Isn't it the other one I called Genesis 29 and 18? Okay, you can go ahead and read.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 18. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her.
Okay. Now we're at the third forefather. We're at the third forefather, Jacob. We first said Abraham, Isaac. Now this is Jacob, you know, that fell in love with Rachel. Okay, he wanted Rachel, so he served 7 years, work, under Laban, her father, so that he could marry her. Okay. Let's go to verse 21.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
Okay. So when you see go in unto, that means sex. When it says go in unto her, that's what he wanted to do. And that is marriage. Okay, go ahead.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid.
So wait a minute. There's something that we're missing. He said, I'll serve. Back in 18, he said, I'll serve 7 years for Rachel. And then, did we read verse 19? Let's read 19 over. Let's read 19 over one more time.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 18.
19.
Chapter 19?
No, verse 19.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide me. Okay.
Go ahead.
And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her.
All right, verse 21.
And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
Okay, let's go to verse 23.
And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her.
So he took Leah. He didn't take Rachel. It didn't say that he took Rachel. He took Leah, Okay, that's his other daughter. Okay, and he went in unto her, right? Now let's read 24.
And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for an handmaid.
So here's Leah and Zilpah. Okay. For a hand, she got he has the daughter and the handmaid. Let's read 25.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me?
Tricked me. He tricked me and gave me the other daughter. He didn't give me the first daughter. You know? He said, how did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you trick me like that? You know, he served 7 years for Laban. Salaki. Okay. Now, let's go. Let's read on. 26.
And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
So you can't marry the younger daughter. Rachel was younger than Leah. So you can't do that in their land. You have to give up the older daughter. Okay. Go ahead.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
So he got to serve 7 more years hard labor. Dang, almost sound like you in prison. You got to get that block. Boom! And break those stones into pieces. Man. So Jacob got tricked, you know. Okay, so let's read.
And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
He did what?
He gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
Okay, was this evil? Was this the wrong thing to do? Was this against the Lord? Did the Lord say, okay, look, I'm gonna give Jacob the boils or something, strike him down because he took 2 women, like they would do to you in America? They'll say you're a polygamist or something. You know, it's a polygamist, right? They'll say you're a polygamist. You can't. Right. It won't be monogamy because monogamy is one-on-one. Right. Okay. Continue.
And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
Now are you getting the picture that he has 2 daughters with 2 handmaids? That's 4 women. It doesn't say yet that they're going to be married, but they will be. I guess I'm giving off the story, huh? Okay. Now, okay, so gave Bilhah her handmaid unto Jacob. Okay, let's go to verse 30.
And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years.
Okay, so you have the 2 sisters, right? They have the same husband, right? They have 2 handmaids, right? That's 4 women. Okay, now let's go to verse 31.
And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb.
He did what?
He opened her womb.
Did he strike Jacob down? He opened her womb. Okay, read.
But Rachel was barren.
Rachel was what?
Barren.
Which means she couldn't have kids. The younger couldn't have kids. You know, the older, her womb was opened by the Lord. The Lord was with Leah. Okay, he was really with all of them, but at this time, for the sake of Leah's feelings, the Lord was with Leah. Go to 32.
And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben.
Now Reuben, that Leah bare, Reuben is the firstborn of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons of Israel, the firstborn. See, That's what the Lord did. Reubens are Reubenites, and Reuben is who are Reuben today? Because they still exist today, just like we exist as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Reubenites exist. Who are the Reubenites? Who is of the tribe of Reuben today? Well, the Reuben is your Seminole Indians from North America. Well, that's Southern America. They live in Florida. Right, they live in Florida. Very strong tribe too. And you can tell that they are. Okay, so now let's go to verse 33.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
Simeon, this is another boy. Simeon today. You have your hand up? What's going
I
on?
have a question.
What's the question?
Why, if the Lord wasn't mad at Jacob for taking 2 wives, why can't Rachel have kids?
We're gonna see that Rachel is gonna bear kids in the future too. Okay, so Simeon is of the tribe of Judah, the second oldest. Okay, read 34.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons.
How many sons?
3 sons.
How many sons?
3 sons.
Read.
Therefore was his name called Levi.
And who are the Levites of today? Who's of the tribe of Levi today? The tribe of Levi are your Haitian brothers. You from Haiti? If you're from Haiti, you're a Levite. Okay. Let's go to 35.
And she conceived again and bare a son.
Oh, no. Again? Read. 4
And
boys.
she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah.
She called his name what?
Judah.
That's right.
And left bearing.
And that's your so-called Negroes. Mm-hmm. Judah means praise the Most High. Okay. And left bearing. So she left bearing, which means what? If she left bearing, what do you think that means?
She can have no more children.
Exactly. She didn't have no, the Lord closed Leah's womb. 4 boys, that's it for you. Okay. Now, let's go to chapter 30, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I'll die.
Sound just like a woman. Give me some kids too. You done did this with a I don't want me kids by you too. What you doing? And she was envious of Leah in the beginning, right? So this is how the Lord levels that playing ground. He leveled the playing ground. You hated Leah? Well, Leah gonna have 4 boys for you. Oh yeah? And now Rachel's envious now. She's like, give me children. I want some kids too. Okay. Continue.
And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel.
Wait, we kind of went a little further, right? Let's go to, and said Jacob. Oh, okay. You're right. Go ahead. Continue.
And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I in God's stead, who have withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, behold, my maid, Bilhah.
Who?
Bilhah.
This is her maid, Bilhah. Read.
Go in unto her.
Go have sex with her. Read.
And she shall bear upon my knees that I may also have children by her.
So that's kind of the same thing Sarai said, isn't it? That's like what Sarai said. Go in unto my handmaid, so that she can bear children and they'll be in honor of me. Go ahead.
And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife.
To who?
To wife.
To wife. So how many wives he got now, y'all? Y'all counting them and keeping track about? Three so far. Okay, 3 so far. Go ahead.
And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son.
Here come another son. Verse 6, read.
And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan.
Dan. Okay, that's another son. Read.
And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali.
Naphtali. So you got Dan and Naphtali. Okay. Let's go on. Verse 9.
When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah.
She took who?
Zilpah.
Zilpah. And who is Zilpah?
Her maid.
There you go. Her maid. There it is. There it is. Read.
And gave her Jacob to wife.
See. So there's another wife. How many wives?
4.
4. Right. 4 wives. Now, this is very particular in the making of our nation. That's how you build a nation. That's exactly. And Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to build a nation. How many of our brothers are in prison? How many abortions do the women get every year? Almost 400,000. That's genocide. We need children. You understand? To build our nation. All right. And, we got prison, we got people dying from drug addiction, we got brothers getting shot, killed, sisters too getting shot and killed. Okay. We need to build our nation back up. If you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, don't feel bad to have another damn kid. If you really notice, your mom and your grandmom had 6 and 7 and 10 kids. The nation of America wants you to think that you can't raise those children. And they did it on GR. They did it on GR. They did it when there was no GR. You understand? You make a way. You have children and kids, you will make a way. That's why the man and the woman should come together and make sure them children are raised and they're nourished and they're healthy and they're clothed. Okay? Understand? We need to build our nation up as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand?
That's right.
They're trying to erase us. You understand? They are trying to erase us. But there's abortion clinics damn near on every corner in the ghettos. There's abortion clinics all over the place. They want you to abort that baby. They're going through those things now in legal in politics right now. They're going through that right now in politics about abortions. It's a damn shame, man. Don't. If you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian woman, don't feed into that BS. Do not feed into that. There were 6 in my family, and we did just fine. All my brothers and sisters are here to this day. You understand? And my mom and them had 16. Yeah, 16. You understand? That's how far we've come from being a nation that is growing, a nation that's thriving, and a nation that's being, being multiplied till today. Just have one or just have none. Have one or none. And usually telling you that is our oppressors usually telling you that. You can't afford it. Shoot, well, we can't afford ourselves right now. We still here though. We still clothed, we still got food, still got stuff over our head, a roof over our head. Some of us, even though you got homeless and all that, I understand. But we're still here. Okay. Continue where we're at. Zilpah is the fourth wife. We established that, right?
Come.
Okay. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 30, verses 11. And Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad.
Gad is your native Indian, your so-called native Indians from all the tribes, all those tribes of Gad, all of them. You understand? Every single last one of them, Gad, came from who? Zilpah, the handmaid. Okay, the fourth wife. All right. Continue.
And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son.
Oh no, she did. She did what?
Bare Jacob a second son.
Read 13.
And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher.
Asher. I believe Asher is Columbia to Uruguay. But I have to look at the chart. It's been a little while. Could be Columbia to Uruguay. Okay, that's the tribe. Those tribes there. Okay. Let's go to verse 18.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 18. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar.
Issachar, right? His name Issachar. This is another handmaid, right? Is this still Zilpah's? Is this Zilpah's son? I can keep track. I keep track of all these boys. All right. Okay, for argument's sake, that was Zilpah. Okay, so that's your modern day Mexican. That's your Mexican, and you can see the key words in here: higher. Like read verse 16.
And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my sons mandrakes. And he lay with her that night.
Okay, so it was actually Leah. That's their fault. That's their mother, Leah. Go ahead for verse 17.
And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar.
There ain't no man on earth that work harder than a Mexican. And that's true. Most of y'all that know Mexicans are very hard-working people. This is a hire. Understand? Let's go. That's the fifth son? That's right. And Jacob has 4 wives? That's right. Go ahead, continue.
And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons.
How many sons?
6 sons.
6 sons. That's a lot of boys. 6 boys. Yeah, we have a big family. There's 6 of us. Big family. Go ahead, continue.
And she called his name Zebulun.
Right, Zabalawan in the Hebrew. I know there's some Panamanians, but it's more than Panama. Okay, so you have to look at the 12 tribe chart to see our 12 tribe chart in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge breaks down all of these sons, who came from these sons. Okay, I try to give you most of them. Okay, let's go down to Let's go to 21.
And afterwards she bare him a daughter, and called her name Dinah.
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 Okay. Now that's a daughter. Okay. Continue.
And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb, and she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph,
Called his name who?
Joseph,
Go ahead.
and said, the Lord shall add to me another son.
All right. So that's the end of the sons of the two sisters and the handmaids, the 4 wives that Jacob had. Those all 4 were his wives. So was the Lord against them or for them?
For them.
For them, actually, that's right. Because you see the Lord is working with the women, working with the sisters, opening and closing their wombs so that they can have children. And these children here are important because these are the patriarchs. These are the fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. So it's very significant. If it was not for these 4 wives, guess what?
We're going to have 12 tribes.
There will be no Khan. There will be no 12 tribes. There will be none. There would be nobody. I couldn't call myself a Judite because I wouldn't be here. You understand? Wouldn't be no tribes. That's why it's significant. And it's important that you know that God is not against multiple wives. Okay. Now let's go to we'll go from that story. Let's go to Samuel. Let's go to the first book of Samuel and chapter 1 and verse 1. 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 1.
First Samuel chapter 1 verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zaph, and Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives.
He had how many wives?
2 wives.
How many wives?
2 wives.
Go ahead.
The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children.
See? So there it is again. Peninnah had children, Hannah had no children, yet he had the 2 wives. Okay. Significantly. Now let's go to 1 Samuel and let's go to the 25th chapter. We're going to go to 25. We're going to go to verse 39.
First Samuel chapter 25 verse 39. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant.
Salaki, I want y'all to read to verse 39. Just read it all the way through. Continue to 39 until I get back. Salaki.
From evil, for the Lord hath returned the wickedness of upon his own head. And David sent and commanded
Which one you want?
Huh?
Where you at?
First Samuel 25 and 39, almost finished. Common with Abigail to take her to him to wife.
Oh.
Verse 40. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife. Verse 41. And she arose, and bowed herself on.
She arose, right?
Arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to which wash the feet of the servants of the Lord, of my Lord. Verse 42. And Abigail hasted and arose.
Hasted and arose, so she went quickly.
Hasted and arose. And rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her.
5 damsels of hers, right? Okay, go ahead. 5 females, go ahead.
And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife.
So we're talking about King David, right? We're talking about how his dealings was with Abigail. Okay, continue.
And verse 43, David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives.
Okay, so how many wives did David have? So far, 2, right? All right.
Verse 44. But Saul
Okay,
had
but
given.
hold on. We're not gonna go that far with it. All right. So now, as you see, David had 2 wives so far. I don't recall exactly how many wives David had, but he had 2 right here in this example that we just read. Let's go to 2 Samuel and chapter 5.
Second Samuel what?
2 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 13. Yeah, verse 13. Salaki. That's all right. Go ahead. When you get it, read.
2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 13. And David took him more concubines.
Concubines. These are women that are caught during war times. But David was a mighty warrior, right? David took these, when he took the lands and he overcome certain peoples, he took on certain women to be his concubines, his servants as well. Continue.
And wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron.
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 Okay, read that up at the top again. Go to the top of verse 13. Read that again.
And David took him more concubines and wives.
David took him more concubines and wives. He took more wives, so that he didn't just have two. He took him more concubines and more wives, more women. Okay. Go ahead, continue.
Out of Jerusalem, after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David.
But that's building your house, building your family. Okay. So David had more than two wives, and David did some evil in the beginning, but it wasn't pertaining to his wives. Well, yeah, it was pertaining to another man's wife. Yes, it was. And he repented because of that. But still, he had more than one wife, more wives. Okay, we're going to drop that one, and then we're going to go to First Chronicles chapter 14 and verse 2. First Chronicles chapter 14 and verse 2.
13?
First Chronicles chapter 14 and verse 2. When you get it, go ahead and read it. See, David had more than two wives. He took him more in Samuel. We're reading in Samuel, right? 2 Samuel. Now we're reading in Chronicles. Okay. First Chronicles.
First Chronicles chapter 14, verse 2. Verse 2, right?
Yeah.
And David perceived that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted on high because of his people Israel.
All right. David started coming into some serious power, and he came to be king of Israel. And his kingdom is getting stronger. So let's read verse 3.
Verse 3. And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters.
Read it at the top again.
And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters.
So he took him yet even more wives and begat more sons and daughters. This is David. Now let's go to let me see. Yeah, that was till 6. And let's go to First Chronicles chapter 4. First Chronicles chapter 4 and verse 5.
Chapter 4?
Yeah. And verse 5. Chapter 4 and verse 5.
First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 5. And Asher, the father of Tekoa, had two wives.
How many wives?
Two wives.
Go ahead.
Hala and Nara.
Hala and Naarah. He had two wives. Okay. This is the father of Tekoa. Had two sons, and had two wives. These are all Israelites. All of these are Israelites, and all of these men did the Lord allowed them to. The Lord didn't say anything about them sinning or doing anything wrong by having more than one wife. But why is it are we, tripping out about more than one wife? This is our culture. This is our heritage, our culture. This is what the Lord allows us to do. This is not against the Lord. You can have more than one wife and do the Most High's will. That is not a sin. Nowhere in this Bible is that a sin. Okay? For the amount of wives that you have. Let's go to Second Chronicles chapter 13 and verse 21. Second Chronicles chapter 13 and verse 21.
First Chronicles chapter 13, verse 21. But Abijah waxed mighty and married 14 wives.
Married how many?
14 wives.
Go ahead.
And begat 22 sons and 16 daughters.
He had 22 sons and 16 daughters. 14 wives. Not a sin. Okay. He said he waxed mighty and married 14 wives. Okay. Now let's go back to First Chronicles chapter 8 and verse 8. First Chronicles chapter 8 and verse 8.
First Chronicles chapter 8 verse 8. And
go ahead.
First Chronicles chapter 8 verse 8. And Sheharaim, right? Sheharaim begat children in the country of Moab. Mm-hmm. After he had sent them away, Hushim and Baara were his wives.
Hushim and Baara were his wives, plural, 2 wives. Okay. Let's go to, did we do Genesis? Let's go to Genesis chapter 4. No, let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Let's get in the New Testament, since somebody might argue that I was just going in the Old Testament. Let's go in the New Testament and see what's going on. In the book of Matthew chapter 25. Okay.
Matthew chapter 25 verse 1. Verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven.
We're talking about the kingdom of heaven now. We're talking about then shall the kingdom of heaven. When all this is over, when you don't have to worry about taxes and being exploited by somebody that you picking to do some work for you or do a service for you. You know, when there'll be no more oppressor oppressing you, taking your money and stealing your money and taking your life, getting you shot down in the street. There'll be no more Negroes getting, so-called blacks getting shot in the street anymore, or Hispanic men being shot and being abused by police. There won't be no more abortions, okay? There won't be all these evil things that you see going on, okay? That fake Jew won't be controlling every damn thing. Continue.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins.
10 virgins. 10 virgins. 10 virgins.
10 virgins.
These are women. A virgin is not a woman that didn't have sex. A virgin is a woman that is of marital age. A woman has an age to get married. Read. 10 virgins.
10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Bridegroom, right. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Wow, that's like taking a car and not putting gas in it. You know, I'm going to take the car. Take a cup and don't put no liquid in it. Don't put no soda, no juice in it. Just take the cup. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the cup? Go ahead. Those are the foolish virgins. And listen, this is the fourth to meet the bridegroom. Okay. Continue.
Verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
Wait, go to verse 4.
Verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Okay, so they took oil with their lamps, the ones that were wise. Because how are you going to burn a lamp without oil inside the lamp? Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
So the bridegroom didn't get back right away. You know, the bridegroom took his time to get back. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh.
So somebody shouted, behold, the bridegroom comes. The bridegroom cometh. So they saw the bridegroom coming back. Okay, go ahead.
Go ye out to meet him.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
So they rose, got their lamps trimmed, which means they put the oil inside the lamp. They trim it because it was dark, so that they could see and have light. Okay, to meet the bridegroom and probably keep them on the path to go back to where they were supposed to be. Continue.
Verse 8. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
So these foolish women, virgins, asked the wise women, virgins, to give us some of your oil. Okay, so that we can trim our lamps. Read.
Verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, no, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you.
See, so they said, not so, there won't be enough for us and you. See, they were wise. They were like, there ain't gonna be enough for us if we give you our oil. You didn't go get no oil. So you got to face the consequences yourself. Continue.
But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourself.
Continue.
Verse 10. And while they want to buy, their bridegroom came.
So while they were over there trying to buy some oil, these foolish 5 virgins, the bridegroom came already. Okay, he was there. He was ready to do what he needed to do to get married. Okay, go ahead. The bridegroom came. We're at verse 10.
And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
So they that were with him came in to get married, and the door was shut. Okay? And that was it. So the other 5 were left out there. No marriage for them. Okay? Go to verse 11.
Verse 11. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. But he answered and said, Verily, I say unto you, I know you not.
He said, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. You didn't come. You wasn't ready for me. I don't know you. Okay? So, and then it gives you an example. But the point of this is that was 10 virgins, was really 10 wives. Really 10 wives that the bridegroom had. Okay? So that's more than one wife. So it's not that. Did we do 2 Chronicles 13 and 21? Let's see. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 20. 2 Chronicles chapter 13 and verse 21.
Chapter 13, verse 21.
Verse 21. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
Yeah, we did that.
We did that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to Deuteronomy 17 and verse 17.
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17. Neither shall be multiplied wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold.
Okay. So this was the order not to multiply wives to yourself because of a reason. Okay. Okay, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1.
First Kings chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
King who?
King Solomon.
King Solomon. King Solomon was the wisest man in the world. The Lord made him wise, the wisest man in the world. None shall be wise before him, and none shall be wise after him. But he loved many strange women. All right, continue.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites,
Zidonians,
and Hittites.
And the Hittites, right. So he had many strange women. Okay. Continue.
Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you.
So the Lord was saying this. He wasn't saying don't have many wives. Solomon had many wives, but these wives were Hittites, Ammonites, Moabites, Zidonians, Hittites, and all of these. Are they Israelites? No, they're not. So these weren't Israelite women. It would have been well with Solomon, and he wouldn't have lost his kingdom if he would have chose his kinswoman, women from his tribe, women that were Israelites. But he went off with all these other women. These ones that are true today, a Moabite is a Chinese woman, an Ammonite is a Japanese woman, a Edomite is a white woman, a Zidonian is an African woman, and so on and so forth. He chose heathen women. They're heathens. They're not Israelites. They're not of God's chosen. Okay. Continue. We're of the nations.
Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you.
See, come in unto. Whenever it says in unto, that means sex. Okay. He said we're not supposed to have sex with these women that are not of our tribes. Okay. The Israelites, that's forbidden for an Israelite to do that. Okay. That's forbidden for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to go into other women that are not of their tribe, of their nation. Okay, which is the nation of Israel. Continue.
For surely they will not turn away your heart after their gods.
No, read that again.
From the top.
For surely.
For surely they will not, they will turn.
No. Read it again.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
See, for surely they will turn your heart to other gods. And that's what happened to Solomon. Solomon started doing all kind of stuff. Let's go. Continue.
Solomon clave unto these in love.
Continue.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
He has 700 wives. Nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong with it is that these wives were not of the nation of Israel, and they turned his heart away. Okay? They turned away his mind from following the Most High God. Continue.
Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God.
Read that again.
For it come to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God.
So his heart was not perfect. His mind was not perfect for the Lord, his God, because those wives that were heathens started making him worship other gods. Okay. Continue.
As was the heart of David, his father.
David had multiple wives, many multiple wives, but David was with the Most High God. David didn't turn his mind because those women that he married were Israelite women. Okay, continue.
Verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth,
the goddess
of
the Zidonians, African gods. See? Okay, continue.
And after Milcom, the
Abomination
of the Ammonites.
Of the Ammonites. Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites, which is another god that the Ammonites worshipped, who are your Japanese people. Okay. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 7.
6.
Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father.
See, David did right. David did right. He kept Israelite women, but because Solomon did choose these wives, they took his heart from the Lord. They took his mind away from following the Most High God. You understand? And that's how they got into that's how he got into sinning. That's how he got into doing what is evil in the sight of the Lord. Okay, let's go. Let's read verse 7.
Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for
Shemosh,
the
abomination
of Moab.
Another god, Shemosh, abomination of Chinese people. There's abomination in the sight of the Lord because there's only one God. There's only one God. And his name is Yahweh. That's the God of this Bible. That's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the God that David, Solomon's father, obeyed. He obeyed that one God, the God Yahweh in the Hebrew. Go ahead, continue.
And the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech.
Molech. Molech. Go ahead.
The abomination of the children of Ammon.
Of the children of Ammon. Japanese children again. Their abomination. Their gods. And if you were following the news just recently, the other heathen tribe were the East Indian people. In the Bible, they're called Elamites. The Elamites just recently, the East Indian people took all their gods and pushed them with a big bulldozer into and threw them down into the river. All of their idols and statues and all of that. Why? Because they were feeling that their gods didn't protect them against the COVID-19. And if you know, in current events, India, East Indians is catching hell from COVID-19, and they got a black fungus that's growing and coming and killing them too. So they took all their gods. They were smart. They took all their gods and threw them in the river. They said, these gods are not protecting us. We were worshiping them thinking that they would protect us. See, if you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, understand you got one God, and he has always proven himself to be mighty. And his name is Yahweh. And he's out of the King James Version Bible, because this is your, how you call it? This is your Constitution. This is your Constitution, not the Constitution of America. The Constitution is the Bible. If you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, understand that. Okay. So continue. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And likewise did he for all his strange wives.
So he followed, he followed all of the gods of his strange wives. He did everything to worship them. That was Solomon's sin. That was Solomon's downfall. That was Solomon's sin, to worship all those strange gods after the strange women that he married. Okay, that were not of Israelite blood, not of the bloodline of the true Israelites that he is. Okay. Go ahead.
Which burnt incense sacrifice unto their gods.
All right. Give me verse 9.
Verse 9. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord.
His mind was turning. His mind was turned from God. So the Most High God was angry with Solomon because of this. Okay. So he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Okay. Go ahead, finish out that verse.
Of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
He appeared to Solomon twice. Solomon was a young boy. He was a young boy when he became king. And he had such a righteous prayer. His prayer was righteous, boy, because he said he didn't ask for his enemy to be killed. He didn't ask for riches. You understand? He didn't ask for that. But the Lord said, because you didn't ask me for the hand of your enemy and for the life of your enemies and for riches and gold, he said, I'm going to give you the riches and gold, but you will be the wisest man in the earth. None shall be wiser than you to you before you, and none will be wiser than you after you. See, that's when he was obeying the Most High God. You understand? But because of these strange women that he took, he fell behind that. Okay? He fell greatly behind that. Okay, so let's get Isaiah. So time we got Isaiah chapter 4. Oh, well, I'm gonna leave it at that because time is time already. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.